welcome back to our movie review channel. And today we are again going to review the movie. And today's movie is Romeo and Juliet that came in 1996. And today we are going to review this movie and we will talk about its fact and analyze this movie. So stay here. So let's start with its introduction, bold modern take on classic tragedy. Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet is a radical remaining of William Shakespeare, timeless tragedy set in a style modern environment while retaining the original Shakespeare dialogue. Released in 1996, the film is renowned for its daring visual style, energetic direction, and innovative approach to classic literature. It combines contemporary aesthetics, guns, cars, neon signage with Elizabeth language and themes, creating a striking juxtaposition that captivates audience and revitalizes Shakespeare for a new generation. If we talk about plot summary, the film follows the classic story of Romeo Montague and Juliet Capulet, two young lovers from leading families in Verona Beach, a fictional modern city. Their love blossoms amidst violence, hatred, and social conflict. If we talk about introduction of the families, the Montagues and Capulets are powerful rival gangs controlling the city's underworld, represented through gang wars, street violence, and film noir aesthetic. If we talk about the love affair, Romeo and Juliet meet as a masked party, fall in love instantly, and secretly marry with the help of Friar Lawrence. Mm, If we talk about conflict and tragedy, the feud escalates, leading to deadly duel, misunderstanding, and ultimately resolution. And ultimately the tragic death of Romeo and Juliet. If we talk about resolution, their death serve as a tragic catalyst to end the violence between their family, echoing the original play's themes of love, hate, and fate. And if we talk about themes and analysis, if we talk about pressure, the film emphasizes intense youthful love amid a violent environment. The chemistry between Romeo and Juliet is palpable, capturing the impulsiveness and purity of first love. We talk about conflict and hatred. The feud between the Montes and Capulets symbolize destructive social lives in the modern gang rivalry and its core themes are violence, loyalty, and revenge. We talk about fate and destiny. The concept of fate is central, reinforced by the nuclear motive star-crossed lovers. The film visually and thematically explore how destiny shaped their lives. We talk about violence and tragedy. The film does not shy away from violence, making the stakes visual and real. The street fights and gunfire symbolize the destructive consequences of hatred. If we talk about juxtaposition, old and Lightman's innovative prose contrasts Elizabethan dialogue with the contemporary setting, highlighting the universality and timelessness of the story. We talk about unique style and direction. We talk about visual aesthetic, use of vibrant color, neon scenery, graphite and modern costumes blended with period dialogue, cinematic techniques, rapid edit, dynamic camera work, and unconventional framing create a frenetic, energetic atmosphere. If we talk about soundtrack, a groundbreaking mix of contemporary music, including Radiohead, Garbage, and the Cardigans, enhances emotional depth and modernizes the story. If we talk about costume and set design, mixture of modern street wear and formal attire with iconic scenes set in modern locations like gas station, nightclubs, and urban streets. We talk about major character and performance. Romeo Monte, Leonardo, DiCaprio, charismatic and impulsive. DiCaprio is a fascinating young man torn between love and violence. His portrayal captures youthful intensity and vulnerability. Talk Juliet, Capulet, Claire Danes. We talk about Juliet is depicted as intelligent, brave, and deeply emotional. Claire performance emphasizes Juliet's innocence and joy. It our executive error perennial marketing lively character provides comic relief and a critical perspective on violence. His screen speech is iconic. Tucker Tiber John Leguizamo portrayed as fiery and aggressive. Leguizamo's titled embodies the brutality of the feud. His duel with Mercutio is a memorable scene. Friar Lawrence Sorino his conflict priest who marries the love devices plans to unite them. We talk about the Nats Emmet was Juliet's confident providing humor and emotional support. Toward Paris does New York. Juliet Shooter representing social expectation. If we talk about notable scene and visuals, the mask party awarded on the calculate by with guests in elaborate costumes, neon lighting, and electronic music. The duel, the fight between Marquette and Tibet is stylized with slow motion shots, vivid colors, and intense choreography. Romeo's monologue, "Oh, she doth teach the task to one bright, delivered in a dramatic, energetic style. The death, the tragic finale with Romeo and Juliet's death, portrayed poignantly amid a chaotic, graffiti-covered cityscape. The ending, the reconciliation of the two families, symbolic depicted through the destruction of violence and graffiti. If we talk about cultural impact and reception, critical reception, the film received mixed reviews. Initially, it was praised for its bold visual style, inventive adaptation, and performance. It holds a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes and has become a cult classic. If we talk about box office and popularity, while not a blockbuster hit upon release, it gained popularity through home video, television screening, and the fan base. Its quotable lines and striking imagery cemented its status. If we talk about influence and legacy, the film redefined Shakespeare adaptation, inspiring many modern interpretations. Its soundtrack influenced movie scoring, blending alternate rock, grunge, and electronic music with cinematic storytelling. Leonardo DiCaprio, his portrayal became one of his breakout roles, showcasing his range beyond teen heartthrob. We talk about famous quotes of like what your eyes. Parting is such sweet words in a name that which we call a rose. O Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? If we talk about interesting facts and review, casting choice Leonardo DiCaprio was cast after impressing the man in The Quick and the Dead. Claire Danes we cast for her emotional intensity. If we talk about modern setting, the film's set design include graffiti, neon sign, and modern vehicles deliberately contrasting the Elizabethan dialogue. If we talk about soundtrack, the soundtrack was a commercial success, featuring bands like Radiohead, Garbage, and Butthole Surfers. We talk about cameos and Easter eggs, hidden reference to other Shakespeare works, and modern pop culture. We talk about film cuisine, shot mainly in Venice, California, with scene in actual urban setting and soundstage. If we talk about costume design, the costume was contemporary fashion with period elements, creating a distinctive look. If we talk about director's style, Page Lehrman's signature utilized high-energy cinematic approach is evident throughout. If we talk about comparison with our adaptation, unlike tradition, stage or film version, Darwin's Romeo plus Juliet is notable for its audacious visual style and modern aesthetic. It strips away historical period constraint, emphasizing the universality and timelessness of the story. We talk about conclusion, a revolutionary take on a timeless tale. If we talk about Romeo and Juliet 1996 is a groundbreaking adaptation that challenged convention and redefined how Shakespeare's work could be presented on screen. Its daring visual style, contemporary soundtrack, and passionate performance making it a must-watch for lovers of modern cinema. Shakespeare and innovative storytelling, whether you admire its boldness or find it provocative, there is no denying that Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet remains a vital, influential, and deeply emotional film that continues to resonate with the audience around the world. If we talk about more, if we talk about Romeo and Juliet 1996, the ultimate in-depth review analysis and fact compilation. Let's talk about introduction. A revolutionary reimagining of Shakespeare's classic page, Verhoeven's Romeo and Juliet stood as one of the most daring and innovative adaptation of William Shakespeare's tragic play. Released in 1996, this film broke conventions by merging Elizabethan dialogue with the vibrant modern urban landscape. Its audacious style and narrative direction and bold visual has been treated as a landmark in cinematic history, influencing countless subsequent adaptations and reinterpretations. The film is not merely a retelling but a radical reinvention designed to captivate contemporary audience while honoring the poetic grandeur of the original text. It exemplifies how classic literature can be transformed into a visual modern experience without losing its depth and emotional power. If we talk about historical background and context, the state of Shakespeare in modern cinema. Before Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare's plays had been adapted many times, often in traditional period costumes and settings. Films like Lawrence Oliver's Henry V. and Raphael's Romeo and Juliet 1968 maintained the classic Elizabethan look, emphasizing historical accuracy. However, Lawrence approach challenged this tradition, aligning with the broader trend in the 90s of experimental filmmaking. Think Pulp Fiction and transporting which celebrated edging, visual flair, and contemporary cultural references. Vision was to make Shakespeare language accessible, energetic, and relevant to a modern MTV generation audience. We talk about the cultural thematic of the 1990s. The 1990s was an era marked by rapid globalization, technological innovation, and a youth culture that embraced rebellion, music, and street fashion. Grunge, rave culture, and hip hop were dominant cultural forces emphasizing authenticity, emotional expression, and a break from traditional norms. We talk about Lerma and Romeo plus Juliet trapped into this JD space in modern music, street slang, and urban is used to make the timeless tragedy feel immediate and visual. The plot and its modern reinterpretation. A fresh take on the classic narrative, the core story was faithful to Shakespeare's what is your tragedy. Star-crossed lovers from feuding families, their submissivism amid violence and social conflict, the tragic misunderstandings and impulsive decisions that lead to their death. The resolution which underscored the destructive nature of hatred and the possibility of reconciliation. However, Lerman's film transfers this narrative into a contemporary setting. Vernon Beach, a fictional city life with gang violence, neon signs, and urban street culture. The non-tag encapsulate are represented as rival gangs with guns replacing words, and the street is their battleground. If we talk about major plot points and scenes, the Capulet masked oval instead of a traditional ball. Guests arrive at an extravagant neon-lit nightclub with electronic music, mask and costume blending Elizabethan elegance with modern fashion. If you talk about Romeo and Juliet's first encounter, their meeting is staged at the party with Romeo wearing a sleek modern outfit and Juliet in a close round set against the backdrop of flashy clubs and pounding music. The balcony scene reimagined in rooftop setting with Juliet on a balcony and Romeo below, both speaking in poetic language amidst urban noise. We talk about major conflicts and duels. Street fights are choreographed with fast editing, slow motion shots, and vivid colors emphasizing chaos and violence, and that the tragic conclusion takes place in a graphite covered alley with gunfire and explosion, replacing traditional swords and poison. If we talk about themes and their modern manifestation, love and impulsiveness, the film captures the passionate, impulsive nature of young love, emphasizing how intense emotions often lead to reckless decisions. Romeo to tell Juliet. Love is depicted as fiery and immediate, echoing the urgency of youth. We talk about hatred and the feud between the Montagues and Capulets mirror real gang realities, emphasizing how hatred fuels violence, loss, and tragedy. The film makes a stark statement and shows realism. To talk about fate and destiny, the requiring motive of star-crossed lovers underscore how destiny shapes their lives. Visual cues such as the star and celestial imagery reinforce this theme. If we talk about rebellion and youth culture, the setting and style highlight the theme of rebellion, with the young protagonist defying authority and social expectation. If we talk about life and death, the constant pressure of guns, street violence, and morality serve as a stark reminder of the fragile nature of life. We talk about visual and stylistic elements. We talk about cinematic style, elaborate sequences, hyper-stylized aesthetic feature, rapid editing and jump cuts, use of vivid saturated colors, contrasting lighting, neon signs against dark alleys, dynamic camera movement, and endless symbolic visual motifs like star, graphite, and modern architecture. If we talk about set and costume design, location Venice, California, with scenes shot in actual urban environments, streets and nightclubs. If we talk about costumes, the fusion of Elizabeth fashion with modern streetwear, leather jackets, sneaker tattoos, we talk about cross guns, cell phone, sunglasses, and neon sign, juxtaposed with period elements like swords and masks. If we talk about music and soundtrack, one of the most groundbreaking aspects, a mix of alternative, grunge, electronic, and pop music. A song includes Radiohead exit music for a film always I think I am paranoid and the real full. The soundtrack enhances emotional resonance and modernizes the dialogue. If we talk about lighting and cinematography, firstly, use of stark contrast lighting to evoke mood. Night scene bathed in neon and street lights. Slow motion sequence during fights or emotional moments if we talk about character and performance. Romeo Leonardo DiCaprio, charismatic, fascinating, emotionally intense, portrayed as brooding rebel with a poetic soul. His iconic line, "Did my heart love till now" for Spirit side captures his romantic idealism toward Juliet Capulet Claire Dance, portrayed as intelligent, brave, and emotionally mature. Her famous line, "Oh Romeo, whether for art, though Romeo," is delivered with youthful longing and defiance. If we talk about Mercutio, Harold Perrineau, witty, flamboyant, and energetic, relieves the kingdom speech with flair. His death scene is visual and emotional, emphasizing the tragedy of senseless violence. If we talk about Tibet, John Leguizamo is hot-headed, aggressive, fiercely loyal. His duel with Mercutio and subsequent death intensified the conflict with our good friar Lawrence, also Vino. Wise but conflicted, his plan at the tragic chain of events in motion. We talk about the North Mehmet was comic but also most of them. We talk about Paris Desmond, Juliet suitor representing social expectation and arranged marriage. We talk about memorable and iconic scenes. The masked ball, neon lit club mask dances, electrifying music, the street fights choreographed with cuts, explosion and graphite covered background. Juliet Wall concert on Rooftop with city lights emphasizing her longing. The dual Manikuto and Diver's fight shot in slow motion with vivid colors. The death scene Romeo's griffin graffiti, elegant fiery blazing swords. The tragic ending, Juliet awakened to find Romeo dead, leading to her suicide. If we talk about critical cultural impact and legacy, critical reception and box office, the film initially received mixed reviews but gained cult status praised for its bold visual style, innovative soundtrack and performance, grossed over 147 million worldwide, making it a commercial success. We talk about influence on film and pop culture inspired countless modern adaptation and reinterpretation. The film has visual system influence fashion, music videos, and other films. Its soundtrack set new standards for film scoring, blending alternative music with cinematic storytelling. We talk about famous quotes and memes. A plague of both your house parting is such sweet sorrow. Words in a name that which we call a rose. O Romeo, O Romeo, therefore, wherefore art thou Romeo? These lines have become iconic and widely quoted. With our legacy and continued popularity. Talk about regularity aired on television during holidays. Fans recreate costumes, scenes, and quotes inspired stage adaptation, parodies, and internet memes. The 2013 stage musical adaptation further expanded its influence. Leonardo acting trivia Kashmir DiCaprio was cast after his role in The Quick and the Dead. Claire Danes was chosen for her emotional depth. We talk about filming location mainly shot in Venice, California, with some scene in Long Beach. We talk about music impact, the soundtrack became vastly appealing to both alternative and mainstream audiences. We talk about innovative style, the film's editing style was influenced by MTV aesthetics with rapid cuts and visual effects. We talk about costume design to blend Elizabethan elements with contemporary fashion. Leather tattoos and stylish accessories if we talk about dialogue. The film retains Shakespeare's original language, making it both accessible and poetic. We talk about iconic shot. The scene where Romeo and Juliet meet at the party and the final that scene remain iconic in cinematic history awards, though not fully decorated with awards, it received praise from critics and audience alike. If you talk about comparison with other adaptations, unlike traditional Shakespeare films, Romeo and Juliet is distinguished by its modern setting, use of contemporary music, visual dynamics, fast-paced set editing, authentic Elizabethan dialogue. It paved the way for future modernized Shakespeare's adaptation such as Ten Things I Hate About You. And she is if we talk about conclusion or cinematic milestone, Romeo and Juliet is more than just a retelling. It's a cinematic revolution that redefined how Shakespeare's work can be presented. Its fusion of classic poetic dialogue with modern visual and music created visual emotionally charged experience that continues to resonate. The film's boldness, energy, and emotional depth make it a must-watch for lover of cinema. Shakespeare's and innovative storytelling, its influence enduring, inspiring filmmakers and audience to see classic literature through fresh world. If we talk about more, we have to go for it. It will take little time, guys. have to wait for a little moment, guys, please. And if we talk about Romeo and Juliet, that's the most exhaustive in-depth analysis review and fact movies. And let's start with its introduction, parodies, the shift in Shakespearean adaptation. Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet is not just a film. It's a cultural phenomenon and a revolutionary approach to bringing Shakespeare's timeless tragedy into the modern era. Released in 1996, this film challenged the traditional notions of period accuracy of acting instead of for a vibrant, chaotic urban setting that reflects contemporary youth culture while preserving the poetic richness of the original language. This film audacious style, innovative storytelling, and immersive visual have left an indelible mark on cinematic history. Its success demonstrated that Shakespeare's work could be made relevant, exciting, and emotionally resonant for our audience across generations, setting a new standard for modern adaptation. If we talk about historical and cultural context, pre-1996 Shakespeare film historical Shakespeare's adaptation, the there twisted period settings, emphasizing historical accuracy. Films like Lawrence Oliver Henry 5 1944 or Jeffrey's Romeo and Juliet 1968 celebrated the Elizabethan era and aimed to preserve the triviality of the original play. If we talk about Romeo and Juliet defied this tradition inspired by the antique generation's visual music and rebellious attitude. It sought to break the mold, making Shakespeare accessible and engaging for the antique French and rave culture of 1996. If we talk about the 1990s cultural climate, we talk about the 1990s culture climate, the 1990s source of youth, rebellion, alternative music, and street fashion, grunge, hip hop, rave culture, and advent of the internet created an environment of experimentation, authenticity, and industrialized sentiment. Influence film and this culture, using modern music like urban landscape to create a visual and immediate experience, one that resonates with the spirit of youth. The digital illusion and visual style, the rise of digital editing and aesthetic heavily influenced the film's visual language, rapid cuts, vibrant colors, and dynamic camera work use the fast-paced sensory overload of modern media to overload or modern interpretation. We talk about core narrative and its modern setting. The film follows William Shakespeare's original plot. Two young lovers, Romeo and Juliet, fall in love despite their family's feud. Their love, passion, insurmountable obstacles, violent calamities, social expectations, and impulsive decisions. The tragic misunderstandings and impulsive act lead to their death, ultimately uniting their families through grief and realization, transposing to a modern urban environment where none of the fictional city is a gritty We talk about transposing toward urban environment, where which the fixed city's ability union to turn landscape back into Los Angeles or Miami, gangs and street violence, the mountains and companies are depicted as rival gangs with guns left in the street, fight facing swords and fuels with nightclubs and urban spaces. The corporate world becomes a glamorous, high-energy nightclub with flashing lights, DJs, and masked dancers, wardrobes, and fashion characters wear leather jackets, tattoo sneaker, and accessories, blending Asia elements with contemporary street fashion. In the plot rundown and scene descriptions, the opening scene. The film opens with a rapid montage of urban chores, firefight and street war, setting a tone of violence and unrest. The opening narration, delivered in 6 p.m. language, introduces themes of hatred and fate that represent masked ball and first encounter. The scene is set in a pulsating nightclub where guests dance amid neon lights and electronics music. We talk about Romeo arrives in sleek modern outfit with a confident yet brooding demeanor. We talk about Juliet Destiny in a glamorous dress is introduced to the crowd. Their meeting is electric and instant connection with dialogue delivered over the top, running it over the balcony scene, reimagined on a rooftop overlooking the city's skyline. Juliet stands on a balcony, gazing at the neon-lit street below. So what Romeo below delivers the famous adapted with contemporary language but suitably Shakespearean relevance. The scene emphasizes the youthful passion and love set against the urban backdrop. The price and the photo finishing The street fight and tales with the whole life in a photograph with rapid editing, slow motion, shots and color grading, architecture that is portrayed in visual detail, emphasizing the senselessness of violence, violence, magnetism, and death are pivotal heightening the film's emotional stakes. The secret wedding and its aftermath. Juliet magically pragmatic woman with fragrance sufficient. There only is one moment of hope amid the tragedy and violence. Romeo's exile is devastating as escapes through the streets. Juliet's stage death is realized in an opera-like setting with her lying in modern hospital bed. Juliet's subsequent death are short with emotional intensity community with Juliet's suicide. About the addict and his conciliation, Juliet awakens to find Romeo dead and she takes back her life. The family is witnessing the aftermath, realize the futility of their attack. The film ends with reflectively painted symbolizing hope and renewal. To talk about themes and the Western India, love and impulsiveness, the film features youthful passion, Romeo and Juliet's love is immediate and fleeting aftermath is their dialogue, are poetic yet delivered with strong emotional intensity and immersive reflective love, extravagant and violence, represented visuality through street scans, graffiti and gunfire, the film social division, the violence is raw and unfiltered, making this take in we talk about fate and destiny. Someone is immortalized as realistic imagery and corrupted lies underscore the idea that their love and tragedy and routine and requiring resistance plus power, resilient for visual symbolism, rebellion and youth culture. The character rebelliousness is expressed through their personal lives and defiance of authority, existing social expectations. street violence and the notion of death as stuck in morality, legalities, and death and Romeo's suicide are portrayed with emotional depth, emphasizing the tragic cost of mental traumatism, stylistic elements, and extreme separation. The cinematography, camera use of handheld cameras and reflections dramatic energy, slow motion, storytelling, fight, and emotional moments, high and drama. Color emphasizes characters' expression, relieving the mood, the hard color palette. Neon pinks, blues, and purples dominate the urban landscape. Darkness is punctuated by bright, saturated lighting, creating a surreal atmosphere scenes contrast with the vibrant urban color. Photographers set and costume result of the sun. Urban street life justified covered walls surrounded by costumes, contemporary street life, furnished with unusual accessories, leather, hats, masks, and jewelry. Symbolizes use of masks and costumes to symbolize identity and entertainment. If we talk about music and sound design, the soundtrack features alternative, grand electronic influence tracks, sci-fi integrated fantasy videos, dance sequences with background ambience, sound effects of gunfire, sirens, and distant noise underscore the charm. Tribute character deep play and performance Leonardo DiCaprio as Romeo. Portrait captures vulnerability, virtuousness, and poetic longing. His delivery of Shakespearean lines is energetic and emotionally charged. Iconic moments include his passionate monologue, "Treat My Heart," "Love Till Now," and the final tragic that scene. We talk about Claire Danes as Juliet, embodies innocence, intelligence, and emotional resilience. The delivery of Juliet's lines, balancing youthful fragility with reserve, her performances in the balcony scene and her brief mistaken reaction are critically acclaimed. Therefore, Peronian as Mary Kitty brings humor, wit, and flamboyance to the role. His keen map species delivered with dynamism. His death scene is a pivotal emotional moment If it occurs on dynamism as table, portrayed as fiery, aggressive, and fiercely loyal, his duel with Margaret and his death escalates the charm. It of also Romeo as Friar Lawrence acts as a moral compass whose well-intentioned plans ultimately lead to tragedy. These scenes reveals internal conflict and regret. We talk about supporting cast and their roles. M. Hammett was a Julius nurse comic relief with emotional depth. Desmond as Paris embodies social expectation and conformity. We talk about iconic scene and visual highlights. If we talk about iconic scene and visual highlights, Indian Mask Ball, the scene is a visual masterpiece. Young lights, mask, electronics, music, and fashionable costumes creates a hypnotic atmosphere that the camera soaks through the crowd, capturing the energy and mystery. The street fight and Marketo's death. We talk about choreographed in rapid shouting sequence with vivid colors. Marketo's death is brutal, shot in slow motion to emphasize tragedy. The balcony scene, Juliet's longing and Romeo's poetic confession are shot on a rooftop overlooking the city skyline. The scene's intimacy contrasts with the urban environment. Fitawa, the final scene in Juliet's society. Juliet's agreement to harm their daddy's emotional and her final act is shot with staff relays, emphasizing the tragedy emotional weight. If we talk about cultural impact and legacy, reception and critical acclaim. Initially met the mixed reviews but quickly gained cult status, praised for its innovative soundtrack and performance, holds a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. If we talk about box office and commercial success, And if we talk about box office and commercial success, grossed over 147 million worldwide, popular on home video, TV, leaders and streaming platform, influencer, media and pop culture, inspired a new way of modern Shakespeare adaptation. The film's visual style and soundtrack influenced music videos, fashion, and other films became a staple for decision on innovative film techniques. If it was a famous quotes and a cliff about your house party such Sixer Romeo or Romeo for Arthur Romeo. Their praise Star Wars flowers remains iconic. If we talk about intrigue, fact, and behind the scene, casting charges, Leonardo DiCaprio was soon after impressing Lerman in The Quick and Dead. Claire Danes was cast for her emotional depth, film locations, family shot in Venice, California with some scene in Long Beach and soundtrack. If we talk about music and soundtrack, the soundtrack became a chart-topping success, blending alternative rock with cinematic scores, costumes, designed to learn the more trivial tattoos and accessories. Lighters using Basler hyper-stylish approach draws inspiration from pop art, punk, and street culture. If you talk about the use of technology, cutting-edge editing techniques, rapid cuts, and visual effects create frenetic, immersive experiences. Cameos and Easter eggs, subtle reference to other Shakespeare and pop culture icons, words and nomination while not familiar with the literature talk about comparison with other adaptation and unique aspects, traditional versus modern urban example, classic Romeo and Juliet. This version is visual frenetic and thematic beauty, language and dialogue, written Shakespeare's original text, making it accessible and poetic amidst a modern setting. Visual style unique in its inspired aesthetic, blending graffiti, neon, and urban landscape. Overall impression the modern energy approach to Shakespeare and inspired artists filmmakers to rethink classic adaptation. To talk about fine thoughts and legacy, we talk about Romeo and Juliet identity is more than a film. It's a cultural landmark that broke on this most high art with pop culture and demonstrates that classic styles could be realized with style and emotional depth that's influence persist in modern cinema, theatre, and pop culture, inspiring adaptations that are more innovative and emotional resonance. The film invites viewers to see Shakespeare's timeless themes, love and pain, presented through a contemporary lens, making it accessible, essential, and unforgettable. Can you talk about more? we talk about Romeo and Juliet 1996, the definitive exhaustive and utterly comprehensive analysis revealed and comprehension instruction defining Shakespeare for the modern age. As the Humans Brazilians 1996 crystallized a groundbreaking cinematic milestone that reimagines William Shakespeare's classic tragedy through a radical modern lens, unlike traditional Shakespeare adaptation that often lean heavily on historical accuracy and period costumes, glamourizes and masterpiece and visual eye, the energy visual harmony, techniques that capture the very spirit of culture. This film is not only storytelling, but an experimental fusion of classic poetry with contemporary electronic music and stripped down it allows audience to see Shakespeare's work as alive, relevant and emotional, powerful in the context. Without historical if we talk about introduction redefining Shakespeare's over the modern age, was Herman's Romeo and Juliet to stand as a groundbreaking cinematic milestone that reimagines William Shakespeare's classic tragedy through a radical modern lens, unlike traditional Shakespeare adaptation that often lean heavily on historical accuracy, period costumes, glamorous visual masterfully visual high energy, visual oral experience that captures the rebellious spirit of 1990s youth culture. This film is not merely relating but an experimentation of sequencing content, urban aesthetic, electronic music, and strips telling its challenges audience to see Shakespeare's work as alive, relevant, and emotional powerful in for evolution and relaxation. 326 films and daily limitation. These treatment success was heavily into films and their true traditions, staging and period costume emphasizing fidelity to the original. Also comic eras films like Japanese Romeo and Juliet theatrically but often aligned with humor and modern audience. Eleven's Sword Season 2 and Undisclosed was replaced by a desire to make Shakespeare's themes accessible and engaging for a generation raised on MTV video games and street culture. The 1990s were a decade characterized by youth rebellion, alternative music, and surge in visuals, shortly the rise of MTV music videos and culture built aesthetic that celebrated immediate visual spectacles and emotional intensity. The decade was a shift toward grunge, hip hop, and street music, emphasizing authenticity, individual expression, and anti-establishment attitudes like Romeo, Juliet tapped into this 80s creative film that felt raw, edgy, and vicious. It talked about technology, advances, industry, influence, about plot, narrative structure, and modern take on classic tragedy. Our plot and its modern take on a classic tragedy. Cold blood and its modern transposition. The film presents Shakespeare's original plot style discovered from fountain nowadays. The romances blossom amid violence, social expectation, and impulsivity. Tragic misunderstanding culminate in death, leading to reflection and reconciliation. It was suitable visual environment. The story unfolds in Verona Beach, a fictional city with neon-lit streets, graffiti covered walls, and urban decay. The mortgages encapsulates are reimagined as rival gangs with cars, statues, and street crew that the capillate will become high energy nightclub with flashing lights, electronics, wigs, and mass dancers. Peter Robert scene by scene breakdown and opening montage rapid cuts of urban sounds and silent street fight. Set the tone. The mask baller neon lit club was bells and electronic music and fashion blending Elizabethan and streetwear style. So it was a review of the movie Romeo and Juliet. I hope you like it, and if there was any mistake in this video, then I apologize for that. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. We'll see you in next video. Thank you. Goodbye.